Life is so fragile, and we're constantly reminded just how fragile life can be, especially when we or a loved one is told we have cancer. Cancer survivor myself, I can tell you, we still feel very alone in this journey.
There's a study that's been showing that patients who are socially isolated have a worse prognosis, have a worse outcome than patients who are socially interconnected.
Buddies for Life is a non-profit cancer support group for those whose life has been impacted by cancer. Humor, hope, heart, and hugs.
Humor, hope, heart, hugs, and a whole lot of love.
Share this with your friends and family and support this community in every way you can. No one should face cancer alone.
I am a chemo buddy for life.
We are a buddies network.
No one does cancer alone.
Be a buddy.
And we are all here for you as a community of love.
We are chemo buddies for life.
And if you've heard 3 words, you have cancer, for yourself or someone else, you belong with us at Chemo Buddies for Life.
Healing through connections.
We let our bathtub go too long. It had rust in it, it had deep pitting in it, there were chips. I, quite frankly, thought it was unrepairable.
Total Coatings is a family-owned and operated bathtub and shower refinishing company. We've been around since 2006, but we use a exclusive non-toxic porcelain coating that was developed over 60 years ago by a franchise in California. So the product is very well established. We refinish bathtubs, showers, wall tile, countertops, and even sinks. Customers want to know what makes our product different, and that's, of course, the exclusive non-toxic porcelain. We also don't acid etch the surface, so you don't have to leave your home because of noxious fumes.
I was completely and utterly shocked. It looked like a brand new bathtub. I would recommend Total Coatings to anybody.
Welcome, everyone. I really appreciate the fact that you took time to come and join us tonight. I have a great show, and you are in the right place. Don't change the channel, because if you change the channel, you're going to miss something that you didn't want to miss. So get out your pen, get out your paper. Let's take some notes. If you have questions, feel free to ask those questions, because that's why we're here. This is the influential series to allow you to transform your life. But the trick is you have to want to first. So when you take action, which is the next step after you think something, you have a choice. Do I do something or I do not? Well, take that choice. It's going to be inspirational. You can learn, you can grow. My whole thing with the LWN, and that is who is sponsoring this show, as well as Total Coatings. I appreciate our sponsors, but the LWN Live with Nature is an opportunity for you to learn, to grow. We've got great big plans for the future. We want you to enjoy this show. We want you to comment. If you have a comment, send us information. But I'll just tell you what, I have Carolyn Brown with us tonight. She is really awesome. She is a very dear, close friend of mine. I am very blessed to have her on the show tonight. She is very dynamic. She's creative. She's a producer. I'm going to not really go into her story because I want her to share it with us. So let's go. Here we go. Here's Carolyn Brown. Thank you.
Stephen. Hi, Stephen.
Hello. Thank you for joining us this evening, Carolyn.
You're welcome.
Well, I think you should maybe start by, let's tell them where you're coming from, because this is an opportunity to touch a lot of people all over the world. And where are you coming from tonight, Carolyn?
I'm coming live to you from Toronto, Canada.
That's awesome. Well, I know that I'm from the Great White North. I'm from Canada. I have my aunt down here right now visiting with us. Toronto is just what, southeast of Kitchener, where I was originally from. I think southeast, something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
It's in Canada, folks.
Well, the funny thing is you and I both went to school in Kitchener, so.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool. It's a great place. Um, Interestingly, I mean, it's so clean in Canada. Um, I truly love it. I just haven't been able to go up there lately, and I'm planning to soon because I know a lot of people from Canada.
Mm-hmm.
So, you have a lot going on lately. That's what I noticed.
Yeah. Well, I have my day job that I work at, and then on Friday nights I do a private chat in our buddies community, which is the Chemo Buddies community. The video that you showed, I am the senior ambassador in there, and I hold a chat every night with our buddies, and I bring guests on in there, and we talk about different subjects.
That's a
And
great group, is it not? Maybe you can help the viewers know a little bit more about the Chemo Buddies group, and we can kind of start there.
The Chemo Buddies group is for not just for people that have cancer, but it's for people that are going through different types of things in their life. You know, it could be any type of illness. And we bring everybody together and we have a chat on Friday nights. We used to do a lot of different things in there, which we're just slowly getting back into those things. So we used to play games. We used to do art nights, which I was part of the art night on Tuesdays. We also did traveling Tuesday, you know, knowing where everybody's traveled and got to hear their stories. So having some of the buddies come on and tell us their stories. And basically it's to bring love to the community. And that's what we've been doing for the last, I want to say 9 years, I guess, 8-9 years that I've been with them. So, you know, it's a lot of humor, hope, heart hugs, and a whole lot of love in this community. And that's the way we want to keep it. It is a private group. So what is said in there stays in there. And yeah, so it's a really helpful community that everybody comes together and shares love.
Yes, and so you do a private group every Friday night at 8 o'clock, right after this show here at 7 to 8. And you're supporting the Chemo Buddies or our cancer group. Some people have cancer, maybe they have different modalities that they might use. It's also people like myself that support them in the journey. Because who doesn't know somebody who's been touched by cancer? I just think everybody knows somebody.
Yeah. Well, I had my father who passed away with lung cancer, and I had my aunt who passed away with liver cancer. I have actually, when my dad passed away, I drew this painting for him, which is actually a lung with esophagus and flowers. And then the ribbon is right here in the corner here for lung cancer. So it's a little reminder for myself, you know, that I keep here, like a keepsake from him. And then I also painted a Chemo Buddies painting, which is 2 little penguins that are pink and they're buddies together. So that's what I create, and that's what I bring into the community, is bringing the love and the support, because I am a support buddy there. And I've met so many incredible people in there and heard their stories, and it just brings me joy to actually share my story and listening to their story.
I mean, I love Tamara. She's so awesome.
Yes.
And I mean, she's got it going on, it seems like, with the shows these days, doing the Fab Five, having all these different guests, and you're involved with doing the Friday night What do we call the Friday? Yeah, I don't mean to sound stupid, folks, but what are we calling the Friday night get together?
It's a TGIF.
TGIF. Thank God it's Friday.
Yep, thank God it's Friday.
It's not,
But that's what it is. But I mean, every Friday is different, so I'll come up with a subject. So this week that went by was Mother's Day, so it was a Mother's Day topic, theme, and questionnaire. So it's
Right.
basically me asking the community, and this is a chat community. So I ask questions to the community that's in the chat and ask them to answer the questions that I have. So like if just for instance, what is the most valuable lessons you learned from your mother or mother figure? Like if you don't have a mother, but maybe you have a stepmom or maybe just a woman as a friend, in your life. So those are the kind of things that I ask. And each week is different, depending on the guest. So we had health week one time talking about, different types of vitamins. Sometimes we just have a humor night, which is Barbara and I, my Miss Diamond. We do a humor night, where we come up with a lot of funny quotes and just laughter.
I do know that because I've also, I think I mentioned that on one of the previous shows. I think it was, what was it? Where we spin the wheel. I'm trying to Pat Sajak.
Wheel of Fortune.
Wheel of Fortune. Didn't we do that a couple times? It was really fun.
Yeah, we did Wheel of Fortune, yes, and we did bingo, and we did, like I said, art night. So we've done so many various things in the community just to bring happiness and love and joy to the community for everybody to come out and join us. I've had people come out and paint with us. We did a drawing night where we just drew whatever came to mind. We just take the pencil and let the pencil do the work.
I didn't grab it, but I will in a minute. I'm going to let you talk. I'm going to show this picture because you have a creative side, Caroline. Truly do. And I guess what I'd like you to do is maybe talk a little bit about that. I'll go get this painting that you did for me. I've had that for a few years too.
Yeah.
And, I feel so. All right. I'm going to turn it over to you to do some talking while I go grab this. How's that?
All right.
Okay, here we go.
So I have a creative side. It took me a while to get back into it. I did stop my creative side for quite a few years, and went through some storms, is what I want to say. And you can see I got paintings all behind me. I just started getting back into it a few years ago, and actually, a couple that I can show you that are done on different types of So it's canvas, or it's done on wood, or it's done on others. So this one is pebbles.
Oh yes.
So if people know the Flintstones back in my day, I'm not going to give my age away, but that's pebbles there on a canvas. And then my friend, the LGBTQ, so I created this on a piece of wood for her, and it's on a I don't know if you can see it, but it's on a scroll shape.
Yes.
That my husband cut out for me.
Oh, okay.
And I painted on it. It says, "Accept and take pride in who you are," and then at the bottom it says, "Peace." So
what? I don't even want to get sidetracked, but I will. Quickly, I'll show you folks this. This is mine.
I have all kinds of Stephen.
But you
this
just
one here
triggered me to think of something about
this one is for mental health.
Oh, yes, we're not broken. And that's kind of the thing here. That I'm hearing a theme that it doesn't matter maybe what people have experienced. And I think if you've seen any of my videos in the past, you know that I don't have a problem admitting that I had a problem, and I
Mhm.
did. You know, thank you for being there, by the way, Carolyn, for me and trying to reach me when I was like unreachable for a little bit. But yeah, I don't have a problem with that. But what I also realized is that when I decided to get a lot more serious, for me, it was about my spirituality, and I
Mhm.
had I had to turn my life over to the care of God as I understood Him. And um, I've said I am a follower of Jesus, that I want to be like Jesus. I just recently did a like John the Baptist baptism. Um, I feel really good. I'm sober, and it's a great thing. And it doesn't matter about all the mistakes that I've made, because it doesn't matter if you've made mistakes if you're watching this. It does not, because you know what? Everybody deserves the right to be here.
Mhm.
And I believe that, because I've been opinionated about stuff in the past, and we all have opinions. But when we realize that we are love, that's why I love the Chemo Buddies group so much.
Mhm.
We realize we are love and we're okay, and that when we share our love with others, we are doing what I believe God wants us, intends for us to do, is to be that servant of the community. It's really nice.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry, I get talking. This is why I guess I
No,
got
absolutely. You know what? I agree with you 100%. We are here for service.
Yes.
And like I said, I have been with Chemo Buddies for probably, I'm going to say 8 years. I'm not
Wow.
100% sure.
Hmm.
Um, but I want to say how I got to be the senior ambassador is I connected with somebody who was in the group, but also outside of the group. And we never ever seen each other. We just used our fingers because a lot of the times, maybe they don't want to come on camera, but you can talk to them through your fingers. And it was something about this person that I would get up every morning and have coffee with and have a little chat every day. So that's the connection. And that's what we are, healing through connection. And just having that connection with that person really brought me to this community. And I've always been a person within my community, even here where I live, outside. When COVID came, I would bake bread for all my friends and leave it on my door and have them come pick it up outside of my house. Just I've always been in service, giving back, and um, paying it forward is another one. Always paid forward to somebody's coffee. If they're in the line behind me, I would pay for it, just to make their day and put a smile on their face. And that's what being in service means, is doing for others besides for yourself.
All right. So does that have to do with, uh, in your bio, the information about you in this broadcast, and well, on the Facebook end of it, is the optimal level that you talk about achieving for others? Is that part of this optimal level that you
Yeah.
try and achieve with others? Is the serving the community
Hmm.
and helping others?
Yes.
See, that's really awesome, because I know, because I've taught it, right? This book right here, this Purpose Driven Life. I've
Hmm.
taught this, and it taught me that what my job was to be a servant. And it doesn't really matter what we do, as you can be the person that cleans up the area, or sweeps the floors, or you know how cleans the toilets, for that fact. But doing anything is just helpful for people, and that might be what you're good at, or that might not be what you're good at. But just helping the community in some manner creates happiness. I just know that it does because it has for
Mhm.
me. Hmm.
It does. You know, when you can do a good deed for somebody without expecting something in return, that's
Right.
where it's supposed to make you feel good because you did something good for someone else, you
Right.
know. And some people, you know, they don't get that yet. And it's
Yeah.
okay. It's
Right.
okay.
Yeah.
I think I've just been that type of person since I've been growing up. Is I always wanted to be a helper. Always wanted to help out doing something. I spent I want to say 3.5 years, maybe 4 years in a program that I ran as a leader, and they actually called me back to go back and teach again as a leadership program.
Hmm.
And because I did so well in my leadership program, and it didn't allow my peers that were in my group to give up. And that's another thing, is never giving up on things that
Yeah.
you don't know where you could be, you know. And
Don't
so,
give up before the miracle happens, right?
well, that's it. Don't give up until you give yourself the opportunity to see where it's going to take you, you
Right.
know. And that's where the leadership comes in with me, is that I won't give up. It doesn't matter how hard it's going to get. I'll find a way to make it work.
I gotta just acknowledge a couple of viewers. Now, I haven't seen Robert Brooker. You probably know him too. He's up there. Well, he
Yeah, he's
was up
here
there.
in Toronto.
Yeah, he's
Hi,
in. I was
Robert.
gonna say he's in Toronto. We're touching Canada tonight, folks. All right, that's really cool. So I love Robert Brooker. Thank you very much. And we have Jason Daniels, Lornham. Now he's coming from down under. Okay, because no, not even down under. He talks like he's from down under. I'm thinking. I know. Sorry about that, but he's from Asia. How about I do that? Asia.
Well, I see him
Just
saying,
touch
I think I see him saying, yeah, I agree with Caroline.
Yes, and that's what he did say. Thank you.
Mhm.
I love you, Robert. Okay, thank you very much. Um, isn't it nice how we kind of all know each other, kind of, you know?
Yeah,
And
you know, here's the thing. When
I'm
we do lives like this, you don't know who you're going to touch or who's going to show up,
I
right?
know.
Oh,
I
he's in
look, we have
Ohio.
another guest, which is so awesome too. It's like I'm so blessed. Um, all right, let's bring her on right now too. Anyways, thank you everybody else for watching tonight. We really appreciate you. Guess what? You're on.
Oh my gosh! Hi, it's Dr. Jenny.
Hello,
And
Dr. Jenny.
Miss Karen Brown, I hear all about.
Yes, we've got
How
Canada and Asia, and God knows where else in the country watching tonight. It's really fun. It
Oh,
truly
how
is.
wonderful! Yes. What did I miss?
Okay. Well, we were getting to know Carolyn a little bit better. And Carolyn has been a very dear friend of mine for many years. Um, of course, you know that I wasn't doing anything for a couple years. And she's like ringing the phone and sending me messages. And I wasn't getting them because I didn't have the phone. And then it's just like after a while, because it was about almost 2 years that I finally took to come back online. And
And I'm
uh,
like, where were you?
I
Well,
love it.
what a great character that is. I love the go-getting personalities that keep knocking and keep knocking and keep knocking, because that's how you get things done, because people do have life, right?
Yes.
And someone that's secure in themselves likes to have somebody that's like, hey, remind me. I'm always telling my staff that, remind me, don't give me post-its, constantly remind me verbally, hey, don't forget about that thing, or you have that thing. And it gets things done. You're a queen, Carolyn.
I know she is. She's
You know,
so
he's been a friend for quite a few years, and when he goes off the radar path, then Carol's on the radar path going, where are you, Stephen? Hello, Stephen, pick up your phone, answer your messages.
So I had to start over, and I have started over. Here we are on TV again. which is really awesome. And we're all together, and it's so really, really great. Thank you for joining us tonight, Dr. Jenny.
Yes. I got off a little bit late, and then I have 3 daughters. You know how that is, you know?
Yes.
Woo.
Well, and coming back from Las Vegas, right?
Yeah. Oh, that was
That
just
was
even, that was a
something, huh?
2-day trip. And then when you're spending 12 hours on a flight, you know, on a plane, I left Friday and then arrived on Sunday evening, just in time for Mother's Day. But yep, I walked the red carpet, did my book launching, and got my bestseller certificate from the LA Tribune. Wow. And so it was
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
We've got
So
lots
we
of
were,
people that are saying hi too. I just got to put them up. It says, "Hi, Tamara." And
Tamara.
Jason, I'm
Hi,
sorry
Tamara.
about that. I was thinking of this other gentleman that I just met, but no, I know who I'm talking with about now. He's from Ohio. Ohio.
Jason Daniels.
Mhm.
I know.
Ohio.
He's my kind of friend for real.
Ohio.
Go ahead.
You have
Yeah,
great friends.
I know. I'm so blessed. I just
Yeah.
feel that. Did
Surround
you
yourself with
hear?
wonderful people.
I'm not trying to brag about this, but I'm really, really happy that I was baptized on Saturday down in Siesta Key. Like John the
That is
Baptist
brag
baptized.
worthy. Are you kidding me? There is no shame. Shame is
No.
fear, right? Brag away, because the people that are grounded in faith, love, and hope want wonderful things for you. And
Thank
that's
you.
how, that's a good way to test the spirit, you know, because
and
building
I realized
relationships with other people. I'm so
I
proud.
realized that I'm a disciple of the Lord now.
Yes.
It's like, oh wow, I'm blessed. That was like not the first time I'd been baptized. That was the first time I've been baptized the way John, the baptizer, did it. And yes, I mean, I recognize that, and we were talking about this, weren't we, Caroline, about how, some people can make mistakes and they can make bad choices, and that's okay. It truly is. That this is a transformative show for those that want to change their life. We can give you the help to do this, and that's the whole point. And I want to just officially, by the way, welcome Dr. Jenny to the LWN board. She is the head of the LWN board, the medical advisory, and we are partners in this effort to help people. Just like, all right. I'm so excited.
We got to add music, Stephen. So anytime something exciting, right, Carolyn?
Okay.
We got to
could
go to
do
the
that.
switchboard.
If I was on top of it,
Celebrate.
I could do it. This music.
There you go.
Yeah.
Come on, Carolyn. See, Carolyn wants to dance too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But we were just talking about how paying it forward for people,
right.
Being in the community with people, and not looking for anything in return when you're out there helping somebody. No expectations. When talking about my story, I was talking to Stephen, is yes, I've made lots of mistakes in my life. I spent many times sabotaging myself because the words that I was told to me as I was growing up is that I would amount to nothing. And those were very hurtful words. And I lived in that space for so long that I kind of lived in that world of going nowhere. And once I had separated from my children's father, I started seeing my life change. Started getting a little better, but had a lot of mentors and people helping me. As Tamara's here tonight. Tamara's one of my mentors that helps me when when I start to fall back into old habits and stuff. But I've had a lot of people help me because I've gone through domestic violence. And I am a survivor. And I've also gone through childhood trauma for many years.
Right.
And I survived that.
Yeah,
And
amen.
I am a survivor. I will never give up on anything, and I push myself. And I'm also now a author of 3 books. I'm a co-author in 1 and 2 of my own.
Woo!
I know. It's like, hello.
There's music. Woohoo!
Where's the music, right?
So
It's
you
right
know
here.
who you are now, and
So
who's you.
those words that somebody in my family said to me that I would amount to nothing.
And negative comments like that sting, and
They do. They're hurtful, but you know what? You get past them.
whispered or shouted, and it's demonic. It's and you see it. It's a form of bullying, right?
Yeah.
It's lies and deceit to bring shame, and the adversary wants to steal, kill, and destroy, the Bible says, right? Or
Yeah.
it wants to make you feel inept, unworthy, and those are those lies. And you see these books by like C.S. Lewis, who's an amazing philosopher. I don't know if you guys ever read any books by C.S.
Oh, yeah.
Lewis. Yep.
Certainly.
He did the kids, Chronicles of Narnia, but he did a book, the Screw Tape Letters. That's probably one of his most, it's so about spiritual warfare. And God uses that, doesn't he, Carolyn, to really build you up, just like a palm tree in a hurricane. When you're having those types of struggles, what an amazing opportunity it is to prove people wrong, because the best payback is success.
Right.
Well, I finally
formed against you shall prosper, and every tongue that rises against you in judgment you shall condemn. Isaiah 54:17. That is powerful. No weapon forged against you. It doesn't matter what you go through, because you know that you are strong, you are courageous, because God says you are strong and courageous, that you're fearfully and wonderfully made, because God said that you are fearfully and wonderfully made. So if God is for you, who can be against you? It's like watching little children throw tantrums when they say stuff. The best thing that somebody could have done was say that to you. That way you could be like, oh, look at me now. And now look at you.
It's funny you say that, because the person who said it is actually close to me, because he's part of my family, which was my older brother. And so it's funny how you say that, and I laugh, because when I went, and it's an awkward situation on where I went when this happened, is that my cousin had passed away from a drug overdose, and we were at her funeral, and my other cousin walks up to me and she goes, "Where's your book? I wanted to buy your book." And my brother's like, "Book? What book?" So he didn't even have a clue that I had put my children's book together. And
so cool.
Basically, the children's book that I put together is I'm the illustrator and the author of the book. So I did all the paintings myself, and I created this book. And basically, the book is a journey for children to go through a forest. And it's like all these animals are going through the forest, but it's a Pacific turtle that was missing a piece of her shell, and she didn't realize that she was going through change. So every animal she would meet up, she'd ask this question, have you seen my shell? And they're all like, "No, we haven't seen your shell," and stuff like that. So it's a basic journey of going through change. And then at the end, she realizes that she didn't lose her shell. It was shedding for a new one to come.
Yeah, gotta blossom. You gotta get
so that's what the children's book is about. And
you have a copy of that you can put up on the screen? Oh my gosh, look at that. Harriet the Turtle in the Woods. I love your cover. I love the illustration. Where can we get a copy of that? Where can our viewers find a copy of that?
I can mail it out.
Okay, you have a website, you have a shopping
I don't have a website.
Okay, so Stephen, what we're going to do is we'll put it on our website, so we can have the viewers support Carolyn and her books. If you have children and you want a great message that's not filled with junk, right? Something that's going to spiritually ground your child that they can relate to. Carolyn has just written a magnificent book.
It's actually in 3 schools in the United States right now. And it's in 2 schools in Canada.
You are just rapidly blowing up. God is just expanding your territory because your intentions are so pure. You are such a beautiful person, Carolyn. Thank you for writing that. Look at how God used you. Your experiences. And what's this other one?
This one is called "The Freedom of Dreams: The Poems That Broke the Poems That Freed a Broken Spirit." So basically, these poems in here, I sat down for 25 days. I had a meditation with one of our other ladies that's a part of our community, and I couldn't lift myself out of my chair. I don't even know what happened to me, but I was stuck in my chair. I couldn't move. I couldn't move my arms, nothing. And once I came out of the meditation, I asked her, I said, what happened? I couldn't move. My body was like literally glued to my chair. So it was a sign for me to sit down for 25 days and write one poem a day for 25 days. So what I did is I took my story of what happened to me and put it into poems, and what each poem means for each each story that I had for me is actually expressed in a poem.
That is so beautiful. Can you read a page from one of your poems? Thank you, Miss Tamara L. Hunter. We have her just commenting on your book, Miss Carolyn. She says, I love her book.
So this one was the very first poem that I wrote in the book, and it says, never give up. I will never stop learning. I will never give up on my dreams. If I make mistakes, that's okay. There's always a reward, because even if I fail, there is also a learning experience. I can't just depend on luck. I must do the hard work to gain the reward and never give up. I want to show the world my worth in life. My purpose is to keep going and never give up.
Wow.
And then it's a picture of me. I don't know if you can see it.
That's awesome. Oh, and these poems will touch somebody, you know, they're inspirational, devotionals. That is so well needed right now. Mental health is such a it's a pandemic.
Yeah. And so for 25 days, I sat down, and one is the poems are self-reflection. So it's a self-reflection on myself. Dreams in a box, where I stuck everything in a box and I wouldn't let them go because, like I said, I went through that, you know, saying I'm not going to amount to anything. So everything kind of went in this tiny little box, which is like, you know, in the book here, you can see
how neat.
The little dream box.
Very cool.
And it isn't in my heart. I will never give up. Stop your excuses is another one. So that was me sabotaging myself. Fear is another one that I wrote.
But that's a blessing. That's an affirmation. Stop your excuses, right? And that's biblical. God talks about making excuses, and that's just
one is
trait, right?
Yeah.
And those are things that we can help people with, because they self-sabotage when you're making excuses, and then you find yourself stuck and apathetic. Sluggardness, laziness comes from excuse making, right? And we live in a society right now where we have a very lazy society.
I can agree. I can agree.
And
I work with a bunch of them.
They don't want to work. They feel privileged. They feel their salaries aren't enough. They want to get paid what somebody that has the credentials to get, right? It's almost like a narcissism, you know, sluggardness. They expect more, but they haven't earned their badge.
Yes.
They haven't gone through that refinement. And we're creating a society. I think that's where I come in with the medicine. I see the root cause of a lot of these toxic personality traits that people have. And I believe
you come to Canada, there's a few of them that I work with every day.
And we'll have to put that on the schedule, right?
Yes.
We're going to be traveling all over the place. I feel this coming.
God bless you. God
and
bless
we're going to
you.
have to be like Tamara and have other people doing the show so we can go do this other stuff, right?
Yeah,
Right.
here you go.
But
And
in the
the other one is Key to Happiness. The other one is I Didn't Know Better.
Mm-hmm.
Summer Ends.
Mm-hmm.
You Are My Rock, which is actually my husband, who I'm married to now for almost 15 years, but I've been with him for 24. So he's not my kid's father, but he was there for my kids when they were younger. So he helped me raise them. And they've turned out very well. My daughter's a dental hygienist, and my son is a part owner of a business now.
Mm-hmm.
I wrote this one here. The red cardinal was for when people don't understand what red cardinals are for. Is red cardinals are a sign of somebody coming from heaven to speak to you, to give you a message. And every time I would walk down the street, I always heard this red cardinal, and it would sit in the bush and it would sing to me. So I wrote this poem, and it says, red cardinal, red cardinal, red cardinal, I hear you sing. I hear you sing. You spread your wings. You have fun in the sun. You fly high in the sky. Red cardinal, I hear you sing. I hear you sing. You find a bush to land on and receive its shade. You send the message of spirit in a positive note. Your spirit brings so much joy to me. Red cardinal, I hear you sing. I hear you sing. The sound of your chirping makes me feel free. You appear when the angels are near. I see peace when I look beyond your eyes.
Wow. Wow.
Poetry is really powerful. It is truly powerful, and the fact that you're putting this in a form that the younger generation can learn from, I think is the super important, because they are our future, or not our future. We'll probably be gone by the time they get much older, but they're the future. And so I've recognized I need to think about helping the younger set, because if they cannot make 60 years, or let's just say 50, because it was probably closer to 50 years of making poor choices, then you can enjoy 50 more years of great happiness and the joy with the Lord. I just know that you can. It's like, wow.
Well, Stephen, I go into nature a lot, and I take my dog out there, and he runs the field. Sometimes I'll lay in the field, and just before my landlord passed away here last year, I actually sat in the field, and I looked up at the sky, and I seen this butterfly flying around me, and it actually inspired me to write a poem about a blue butterfly. And that's how I get my inspiration, is by just being out there, just looking up in the sky, and all of a sudden something will appear and I write it. And so I wrote this poem, and my landlord really loved blue butterflies. And it's funny, when he passed last year and we came back from the funeral, there was actually a blue butterfly in my backyard.
Wow.
And it was the exact same color of blue butterfly that I wrote the poem about.
Oh my gosh. That is so magical.
Yes.
So heavenly. You could just see God's hand.
So I asked the butterfly, Tony, what are you doing here?
Nature is so healing. And when we connect with nature and just don't really have to do anything, just observe it and open our minds to be aware of what's going on around us. And I'm very blessed where I'm living at, and we've got deer here and rabbits that come out, and lots of birds. It's so fun. And I know that you are definitely connected to nature, Dr. Jenny and Carolyn. That's what inspired me to do the LWN Live with Nature, was the connection to nature, to ground us, to be able to then just take it in, let God speak to our heart, and then we'll know maybe what the next right thing to do is. It certainly reduce our stress, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it does reduce your stress. And
Yes, yes,
we live in a society that keeps us from that. We get so busy, right? That's a form of spiritual warfare, because nature
right,
is a living sermon, right? Every tree, every
right,
stream, every star, every storm reveals
yes,
something about the character of God. The rhythm of
yes,
the seasons reflects, death and resurrection. Everything. When you see the intention behind creation, I mean, it's amazing. Like even just how the ocean reflects his majesty, right? And every detail in flowers, represents how intentional he was. And like snowflakes, for example, every
hmm
snowflake is different, right? But that's with
hmm
everything, like humanity itself. There's nobody like Carolyn. There's nobody like Steven. There's nobody like Dr. Jenny. We are literally 100% individuals and unique. Our imprint, our
yeah.
DNA, all of it, like from our fingerprints to all of it. And
So
it's
it
to
makes
me,
me
I'm
go,
constantly high off of nature.
yes,
I think I'm like a little
I
kid
know.
sometimes, where I can just get lost in looking at a flower for an hour, looking at the blades of grass, and then thinking of scripture, right? For since the creation of the world, God's invisible qualities, his eternal power and divine nature have been clearly seen, being misunderstood from what has been made. I mean, listen
Right.
to everything. It's, you can see God right there in everything, our children, our animals. It's just, you're high in existence.
So what I wanted to maybe address here is, because I know I felt this in the past. I felt unworthy, and I did not feel that I was good enough. And all these negative thinking programs that were going in my mind, and how I had to change that to be
They're
able to
patterns.
recognize that I am worthy. Because I mean, think about this. I mean, Jesus died on the cross
Mhm,
for to save us from our sin, because we were sinned from the beginning,
mhm, yeah,
and therefore he gave us a way out. It doesn't matter what we've done. It
mhm,
just matters what we I and I know that Tamara likes this part, is that, yeah, the past is gone. We can't change the past. The future is not here yet, but what we have is the present, and the present is a gift. And if we get in touch with, whatever happened, happened. Yeah, okay, I accept that it happened. Do I have to beat myself up over it? No, I do not have to beat myself up over it, because God created us. He created nature. He gave us the ability to be saved from our, wrongful ways. But we just have to ask him into our life to change it. You
mhm,
know,
mm,
accept Jesus as our Savior. And my
hmm,
life has changed so drastically. I knew a bunch of this stuff already, but I
mhm,
couldn't take my own advice. I almost quit. I almost walked away from all of it and said that's enough. And I didn't. And I'm grateful to Joshua Berglund for saying, Steve, don't quit. And then I'm listening to my old videos, and I'm thinking, oh my God, I told people not to quit, before I ever almost quit. And so,
mhm,
you know what that said to me?
what?
Everybody is a human being, and in this humanness, we can make decisions that aren't beneficial for us. But if we ask God to give us the answers and follow his path, all of a sudden things get better, and we don't hold things against ourselves. And this
Mm,
is where the consistency,
mhm,
consistent day after day, doing the same thing over and over, positive stuff, right? Not the negative stuff. Because I
mhm,
tried that thinking things would change. It didn't. um,
But that's
mm.
is
only
What you said.
when you talk about patterns, it's like a generational cycle,
Mm,
so you
in
create these patterns, right? So if we can't break those patterns, then you will live in the past and you'll still live in those troubled times.
Right.
But when you decide to let go of those and break the chain of that, that's when you start breaking the cycle that, hey, I'm not going back there again because I've been there. I know what it's like. Now I need to face face the future, which maybe I haven't got to the future yet, but yes, I am in the present. But what can I do now in the present? What can I bring out to somebody? How can I serve somebody with my information?
See, that's so admirable, Caroline. I mean, it truly is. Because when we decide to make a change, I mean, still takes that action step. And even if we fail, we don't fail. We get one step closer and realize that's not what we need to do. We need to change it. And when you're willing to face the fear, because that's what it takes, facing the fear. I had to say, I'm tired of a pity party for myself. Because that's all it really was. But man, when I changed my thinking, I changed my life, and having God in it, to me, and it doesn't mean it's for you, everybody, but for me, it made a big difference. I mean, it made it so that I'm happy with my everyday life anymore. And that's a blessing to be here like that. That's why I've got Caroline on. That's why I've got Dr. Jenny standing by my side on this stuff, because I've been honest. I made mistakes, but guess what? I don't make them anymore.
We all make
We all make mistakes.
We all make mistakes.
Grow from them, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what happens. We can choose to listen to God's voice, but even when we're in a dark spot, God is still there, right?
Yeah. Yes. He is. He's always there.
His deepest work in hidden places.
Yes. And then the key word, Stephen, is you have a choice.
Yes.
You have a choice to
and that's
either
the grace. That's the grace.
To stay where you are, or you make that choice to move forward.
Yeah. Right. Expose the lie and listen to the voice of God and not listening to the voice of fear. Because that's what it is. It's fear.
And so it's getting past that fear, right?
Fear of people not liking you, fear of just think of the lies that we listen to.
Dr. Jenny, when you say listen, just as what you just said there, not listening to the fear. So I'm gonna read this because this goes on with what Stephen's talking about, being with God and stuff like that. So it says fear. You run with your fears and hurt. You run with your fears and hurt. There is no place to go, so you hide the pain. They just become memories and stories, and you try to push them down as far as you can. You want to be free like a butterfly in the sky. Fly high as you can. The storm of the self-doubt and find you again. The world once again comes crashing down. Why can't I be free of this pain? All I ask for is freedom from my troubles. Fly high as you can. Fly like a butterfly in the blue sky. I will find freedom in this world one day. God has a place for me. I know he does. Keep flying high, my beautiful butterfly.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And it's a picture with a butterfly sitting on my shoulder.
Where is it? Did you put it up on the screen? So you did an actual photography with a butterfly on your shoulder? Oh, that is so awesome. And someone captured that moment. That's awesome. Oh, that is so awesome.
So that's when you talk about the blue sky and, letting go of your fears and am I going to find this world that's going to give me that freedom again and let go of that pain? That's where you're at, Stephen, is you're finally letting go of that pain. You're letting go of those mistakes and you're finding your freedom now. You're finding within yourself.
Right.
You took
a great deal.
dominion over your mind. And that is the most beautiful thing, to be able to do that and then teach others how to do that.
Well, I think everybody has Doesn't everybody have it, Dr. Jenny? Everybody has that ability.
Yeah.
It's a matter of whether they do something about it.
Right.
You know?
And that's it. We have to teach people that. We have to encourage them. It's whose voice am I listening to? When you hear you're not good enough. Oh, you always mess up. Huh, you'll never succeed. Or he doesn't love you. Or they're going to mock you. They think you're dumb. Oh, you're not strong enough. If it makes you feel bad and if it makes you retreat.
You know, and that's funny you say that, you know, with the mocking and all that, is before my dad passed away with lung cancer, I was beside, and my dad and I did not have a daughter-father relationship because I had childhood trauma from him. But before he passed away, I said to him, I forgive you, but I don't forget. And my dad said to me, the exact words that came out of his mouth was, I knew you were smart, Caroline. You know, and then I sang his song to him. And that morning I said to him that night, but after I sang his favorite song to him, I said, Dad, it's time for you to leave now. It's time for you to be with the upper power and be with your sister and your uncle, or, you know, your mom, your dad, and all that. It's time to let go and be free from all of the pain and anger and everything that you dealt with through life, you know. And then I find out later, like, you know, the story of my dad, why he was the person he was, you know, and you never know somebody's story until you actually have that conversation with them. So that's why I'm saying with my story, I finally, after 52 years, finally put a portion of my story out there in a collaboration of a domestic violence book. Did I cry for a week? Absolutely. I cried for a week because I didn't want to bring those hurt pains and anger and anguish all up again and relive it. But that was the only way that I could put my story out, was to repurpose everything. And that morning, my dad passed away.
Oh
I hope everybody truly, I hate to say it, but we are running right down on zero time. I want to thank everybody, and I'm going to give Caroline and Dr. Jenny just a quick minute. We've got maybe about a minute and a half between the two of you. I want to thank all our viewers. Come back on Friday. Carolyn, go ahead. What would you leave the viewers with?
What I want to leave everybody with is never beat up on yourself. Never give up on your dreams. Dreams come if you work at them, and just bring joy and love to yourself. Give yourself grace. Because like I said, if I didn't do this, I would still be in my rut of where I was if I didn't have my mentors and I didn't take my story and put it on paper to release my pain.
That's awesome. Close us out, Dr. Jenny.
Yes. My final words for you is you are not your worst moments. You are not your fear. You are not a failure. You are becoming, just like that butterfly that Carolyn was talking about, right? It has to go through a daily and divinely beautiful phase of shedding. You were born in this flesh, this avatar, but you are becoming that beautiful butterfly every single day that's fully and beautifully and divinely restored. Ask God to show you how he sees you. Let him retrain your thoughts, renew your mind, he says, right? And remember that courage isn't about feeling brave. It's about choosing truth and facing your fears. So if you want to reach out to us and you want like a guide from Stephen and I, affirmations, you want copies of Carolyn's book, reach out, go to our website. Stephen, if you want to let everybody know what our website is.
Yeah, I can do that quickly here somewhere. The website is if I can show that. Well, it's not going to work. Oh, there it is. Okay, yes.
Put it
is https stephenrsmith.org. And we can then get back to you. You can send us an email, info.org, Stephen R. Smith. No, hang on. info@stephenrsmith.org. That'll work. And I want you to come back because you're going to have another Canadian on this Friday.
Is that where you're from, Carolyn?
Yes, I'm from Toronto, Canada.
Oh my gosh. Well, now we have a reason to go to Canada, right?
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
On that note, say no more to fear. No more agreeing with fear. Let the weak say, I am strong. Be brave. Be strong. You are beautifully and fearfully and wonderfully made. Have a great night, everybody. Thanks for tuning in.
Amen. We'll see you soon. All right. Be well.
Bye, Carol.